Hi everyone, Alicia here at Cosmic Gateway. I hope you're doing amazingly well. This is the energy update for moving into the first week of December 2018. And boy, oh boy, hasn't it been a week? um, November has certainly been probably the most powerful energy transformation individually and collectively that we've experienced on the planet so far. There's just so much going on. So I'm going to try and encapsulate as much as I possibly can in this very short energy update. But possibly what I might actually do is do a live again like I did last week and just go through and answer some questions. So wow. Okay, so where are we? So we had the Schumann spike for approximately 33 hours non-stop. It has done that in the past, but I don't think the frequency was as high as it was this time. So it was hovering up around 80 hertz for the entire time, and I know that that can have a wide range of symptoms and experiences that people because really, and I talked about this a little bit in my post, it's just a tool that that measures frequency and the frequency of the planet as it's changing and evolving, and we're going through this shift. And so there's such a range of experiences and symptoms that you can experience during those times, depending on your frequency, your ascension process, where you're currently at. So it can bring up fears, anxieties, vertigo. There's such a wide range of it, and it can bring out outburst emotion. And it's very individual, and it's also collective as well, because a lot of us are working together to do this big release work that's taking place at the moment. So I'm still up on the beautiful Gold Coast in Queensland. And just prior to making this video, there was the biggest thunderstorm I think I've ever heard. It woke me up. It sounded like it was directly above me, and it was like, wow, the heavens are waking up. It really felt symbolic, especially after what has transpired over the last week. So for me, wow, I don't even know where to begin. It's certainly the readings that I did last week was very on point with what I felt collectively of, this kind of mass awakening that's taking place, like that the next group or groups, soul groups are going through, hitting their like very, very pivotal ascension point, which is exciting because, a lot of us who've been on this journey for some time, we've kind of been holding this, and it's felt like, really holding strong for quite some time, and going through our own process and working through the collective field, in preparation for more people to, as I call, come online, and start to go through their ascension process. And the more of us that kind of do that, switch on and get activated and start to walk in our our radiant empowered form, then that's sending out more and more light to the planet and impacting people more and more. So it's simply like, wow. Anyway, I'll go into a little bit more detail. So I was at the Healing Fields Festival in Byron Bay over the weekend. Thank you to my beautiful friend who invited me and let me know that it was on. Otherwise, I would have had absolutely no awareness. So I spent 2 days down there with a lot of Indigenous elders from around the world, from various Indigenous communities, and there was a lot of ceremonies and dancing and music and art and just conscious community coming together. And I have to say, it was absolutely magnificent. I had such an amazing time, and it was so powerful to listen to the wisdom keepers talk about the prophecies that are held within their own story times and dream times, and it was very moving. It was very powerful. There was a lot of energy, and that was during the time that the Schumann was going crazy. So, it was pretty magnificent and very, very powerful. Following on from that, I've gone through quite a big transformation in the last 24 hours. I'm actually surprised that I'm here recording a video, considering I didn't really leave my bed yesterday because it was just so much that needed to be processed and integrated, and my body also needed time to rest. So I'm here, I'm back. And what my general sense is, just because of the healing session that I've gone through myself, and sort of the masculine feminine healing session that took place just after being in that beautiful vibe of Byron Bay it was pretty big. And I've been in the thick of it, and what it really felt like was there was so much releasing of very ancient wounding coming to the surface, masculine, feminine, and that how I read that is through the sacral and the solar plexus, and I see the sacral as being the feminine center, and the solar plexus being the masculine center. And that during the session that I was present in, gave me great insight and depth, because there was so much imagery that came through, seeing all the way back to Lemurian and Atlantean times, and feeling the emotion. And I guess I was really overcome of the gratitude of the people who have been the wisdom keepers for this time. And that sits within our cellular memory, that sits within our DNA. And the way I see the human history, and obviously there's varying understandings of that, but from my own soul, I see the time of being on Lemuria, that was in a fifth dimensional consciousness, a fifth dimensional planet, or a fourth density planet. And and that's where we're returning to. It's not going to be exactly the same, of course, because we're evolving, but those of us who lived and have the connection to that time, we know Earth's paradise and what is possible. And the way that I felt from my own soul's journey, and for so many other people that I see, we came from different planets to help see this civilization, from different star nations, the Pleiades, Arcturus, Andromeda, Sirius, Orion, you name it. We're a big genetic mix, really, of different star nations, and we all came here to bring our gifts and talents. And it was around the time of moving out of Lemuria into Atlantis, where human consciousness dropped into the descension process, and we've spent this time moving our way back up. So it's such a powerful time. I can't even. And so, it was during that session that I was starting to, I was seeing all this imagery of what a person can hold in their DNA and in their soul memory. And some of us who've gone through our awakening or a Kundalini, we have that memory come back, and we have that awareness come back. Even if it's not full, we have some sort of level of understanding of who we are on a soul level. But it's amazing that people who do carry that, and they don't even have a conscious awareness of it. And there's just so many powerful souls here. So there was just an overwhelming sense of gratitude in that And that's where I get a lot of my information from. That if you do follow Cosmic Gateway and my posts, it comes from, not only what I feel and read through my own experience, but it's a lot through the work that I do and through my sessions that information comes through. So I get various levels of confirmation, and also all the amazing people that I'm connected with daily. So I guess just a bit of insight on how where that comes through. There was a couple other things. So yeah, the transformation that took place after that, it was about 24 hours, and it felt there was just so much heavy emotion coming through. It almost felt to me like everything that I've processed on this journey so far was kind of coming up for evaluation in a very, very quick period of time. And I think for me, it was a process I knew I needed to go through. And I was surprised how I could just be the observer. I was going through the motions, yet I wasn't so caught up in it because I understood what was taking place. And so I always share that as quickly as I can, so that other people who are going through that can find some peace. But as this lightning struck just before I started to record this video, I thought, wow, this is just, it's kind of like the reawakening, like it's this activation coming through for both the masculine and feminine to reclaim their sovereignty, well, really just not even reclaiming it. It's like remembering it and standing in that power and that beautiful embodiment. So I think we're going to see a lot of big shifts happen in the Divine Partnership Collective as we move forward from December and beyond. And what that means for your individual journey, you'll have to unfold. Everyone's at different stages, but I do feel that we're in a massive transformation for that. And so there's that. I also feel that moving into December, we're going to have some pretty highly charged kind of galactic times, and I blogged about this 12 months ago on the 1st of December. You can go on my blog and read about that. But what I noticed is a lot of the intuitive information that came through to me personally that I shared was more accurate for this year, and everything that I've written about last year kind of came to fruition this year exactly as on those dates. And so I kind of look back at that. So the blog that I wrote about was more and more people starting to have this galactic awareness, this contact. Can be through dream state, it can be through conscious experiences, could be just seeing lights in the sky. But I do think that, more and more people are starting to connect with that. It's been a big part of my journey about 3 years ago. So it was just around December solstice that all happened in 2015. So I think we're up for another big wave of people starting to connect with their star family, which is very, very exciting. So I think that's all. I just to talk about one last thing is that from my perspective, there's a big difference between being awake or spiritually aware and going through your ascension process. And I say that with all love and respect, because I look back at my life and I would say that I was one of those people who was awake most of my life, all my life. I had this spiritual awareness, and it was something that I actively pursued. But there was a distinct point in my journey, which happened 3 years ago, and I talk about this off and on, where everything in my life changed. And that was a pivotal turning, and that was when I would say that the full swing of my ascension process started, and that was the beginning of self-mastery on every sense. And so going through that, from my own experience and how I've helped other people and seen their experience, it's like a lot changes, and a lot can change very rapidly, and it can seem incredibly scary. But if you look at it from this perspective, very, very simple, going from third dimension reality to fifth dimensional reality, we're moving from a place that has duality, it has fear, it has lack, it has poverty, it has victim consciousness, that has all these things, and we're in the process of unwiring and releasing all of that individually and collectively. When you look at a fifth dimension, you know, it's so very, very different. And one thing, and keep this in mind, it's a place where instant manifestation takes place. So imagine if with your level of consciousness and your thoughts and your emotions, imagine if you had the ability to manifest instantaneously. Pretty scary thought, isn't it? Because we have to learn to master our thoughts and our emotions, and all of that, because we don't want to be manifesting our deepest fears. So the way that I see the ascension process is that we have this kind of grace period, this buffer, individually and collectively, and it's the training wheels that we get to go through and master ourselves to kind of graduate. So if you will, I know from my own journey, everything that I feared consciously and subconsciously, and ones I wasn't even aware of, came into my reality, and it was very scary and very confronting. I went through a huge amount of change in a very short period of time. From change of losing my job, having to move house, end of a relationship, losing my money, epic business failure, my twin dynamic, pregnancy, all these things all at once. And honestly, without those experiences, I wouldn't be here doing what I do. It really forced me into my soul mission. And so I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful that I'm in a place where I can look back and be thankful for everything that happened. And I always joke, my soul is very ambitious. It really thought that I could do a lot. And so I just want to say that if you are going through massive transformation, it can be one of those things. It can be many of those things, because we're readjusting to a new way of living. And so be gentle with yourself. If you need support, seek support. And just trust the process. Ultimately, trust the process, because you've already designed this. You've already designed this blueprint. It's just about remembering and following, and learning along the way. So let's get into it. This has been a bit of a long video, but I hope that's helped someone out there, and I hope you're having an absolutely amazing week. So I've got 3 cards. Lucky I brought extras, because I'm meant to be flying back right now to Melbourne, and life is always unexpected. So I'm here, still in the Gold Coast. So let's have a look. This will be reading A, or card A. So just tune in, take a deep breath, see which card resonates for you. This will be B, reading B, or card B. Take that one in. Beautiful. And C, reading C, or card C. All right, wonderful. Well, if you need support, if you're interested in doing some work, I do a lot of energy work. I do Ascension coaching. I do a lot of divine partnership mentoring, and energy alignments too. I also have the package. So I do work with DM, who is absolutely amazing at what he does, helping people get a grasp on their journey from the opposite perspective. So if you're interested in any of those, I will put the details below. And until next week, have a beautiful week. Mwah! Sending you much love.